Have you ever felt like therapy just isn't an option for you? Whether it's stigma, cost, or cultural pressures, you're not alone.
Today, we're here to break down the barriers to therapy, including for LGBTQ, BIPOC, and immigrants.
Hi, I'm Jess, and I help young adults of immigrants who are navigating anxiety and depression while balancing cultural expectations and personal aspirations.
And I'm Angie, and I'm dedicated to creating safe spaces for you to foster emotional, mental, and spiritual well being. Together, we're going to explore why therapy can feel out of reach and share ways to overcome these challenges.
Children of immigrants face unique pressures that complicate mental health conversations. We're often balancing two or more cultures, family expectations, rooted in tradition, and the values of the society we're growing up in, leaving us feeling like we don't fully belong in either. High expectations for academic or career success, along with family obligations like caregiving or translating, can lead to stress and burnout. Mental health stigma in many immigrant communities makes it even harder to talk about anxiety or depression, as it's often seen as a weakness. Add intergenerational differences and identity struggles, and you get a mix that's deeply isolating. We need open, culturally informed conversations that validate these challenges.
And like children of immigrants, members of BIPOC and LGBTQIA plus communities often face intersecting life experiences that significantly impact their mental health and create barriers to accessing needed support. These challenges may include systemic discrimination, cultural stigmas around mental health, and fear of rejection or misunderstanding from providers. Without culturally informed care and safe spaces, many individuals struggle to feel validated, further compounding their mental health challenges. So, here are some drawbacks, barriers, and stigmas that can deter individuals from utilizing psychotherapy.
First drawback, time commitment. Regular therapy sessions require time, which can be challenging for those with busy schedules.
And finding the time can be difficult with job, family, and other obligations. So, that leads to progress feeling slow, frustration for individuals seeking quick solutions as well.
Second, financial costs. Therapy can be expensive, and for many families, it's not seen as a priority expense.
Yes, and by therapy being expensive, it can be expensive for those without insurance or, with limited coverage. The high costs might make consistent therapy an unattainable goal for some.
Yeah. There are affordable options, which include sliding scale therapists, community clinics, or college campuses for those of us in school.
And then another barrier is emotional intensity. Therapy often involves revisiting painful memories and, confronting difficult emotions, which can feel overwhelming. And that process of healing may initially intensify feelings of discomfort before improvement is noticed.
Hmm. Another drawback is a therapist-client mismatch. Not all clients and therapists are a good fit, leading to dissatisfaction or sessions that are just not effective.
And please keep in mind, therapists are not one size fits all. If you don't feel a connection with a clinician or you know that they're not a good fit, continue your search. There is someone who can meet your therapeutic needs, and it may take time and effort to find the right therapist.
And then there's accessibility issues. There's a limited availability of therapists in rural areas or underserved communities, and long wait times for appointments can delay getting treatment.
Yes, so now that brings us to some barriers, which the first one will be lack of awareness. Many people are unaware of the benefits of psychotherapy or how to access services. There's also a lot of misconceptions about therapy being only for severe mental illness, and that can deter those with less acute needs.
Right. And cultural barriers. In some cultures, mental health is not something we talk about. Instead, we're told to pray more, work harder, or keep it in the family. This can make going to therapy feel like going against your family or culture. So, cultural norms and values may discourage discussing personal or family issues with outsiders, and also language barriers or a lack of culturally competent therapists can can prevent effective communication.
Okay. So now the next barrier is the fear of judgment or rejection. So there's a lot of concerns about being misunderstood or invalidated. Then there's also that fear of exposing vulnerabilities and being judged negatively. Um, the safe space is what we provide. Our platforms and practices are HIPAA compliant and confidentiality is observed. So take this into consideration. Therapy provides the security to be vulnerable, as opposed to talking with family and friends who can tend to have an emotional investment or harbor biases. And then those biases prevent them from providing the needed support.
There's also logistical challenges. So that's transportation issues, a lack of childcare, or inflexible work hours that can make going to therapy difficult.
Yes, I remember my own experience going to therapy. And it was really hard to take off work to go. So I had to find a therapist who provided like technically late hours or after hours. So and that was pre-COVID. So I had to find somebody who kept their office open like till at 9 o'clock at night so that I could attend therapy. So yes, limited access to telehealth options in areas with poor internet connectivity might also make that logistical challenge happen.
Yeah,
So I mean, I guess telehealth did come in at the right time.
yeah. It is here to stay for sure because people want it. Not everyone, but there's lots of people who need telehealth for one reason or another.
Yeah, and
Which
with telehealth, you know, we can put it on our computers, our phones, our
Mhm.
tablets. Um, I mean, you can take a break and, you know, go outside or in another room somewhere. You don't necessarily have to be at home, but you don't also have to be at the provider's office per se, just as
Yeah,
long as you're not driving. You can't drive and do teletherapy.
please don't. Yeah. We want you sitting in one place or walking in the same area.
And then another reason for that is also when you're in a therapeutic session, you're processing emotions. So that may not be a safe thing to do while you're driving and need to have your mind completely on the road.
Right. Yeah. Therapy would definitely be a distraction from driving, and we want you to be safe.
Definitely.
All right. So, the last barrier is mental health stigma. For many of us, mental health struggles are seen as a weakness or even worse, something to hide. Therapy might feel like admitting failure. I've heard things like, what will people think?
Mhm.
Or why can't you just be strong? Internalized stigma might make individuals reluctant to acknowledge they need help. And you can be worried about being labeled as weak or crazy by others.
So now let's, you know, look at some of the stigmas surrounding psychotherapy. There's some societal stigmas where you have negative stereotypes about those who seek therapy, such as being unstable or incapable, and misinformation in the media about what therapy entails contributes to those misconceptions as well.
There's also community stigma. In some communities, seeking mental health care is seen as betraying family values or traditions. And there's fear of gossip or breaches of privacy within tight-knit communities.
Definitely. Then we have workplace stigma, where there's concern about career implications or discrimination if mental health struggles become known. There's also the fear that seeking therapy could be perceived as a lack of resilience or capability.
And then there's internalized stigma. For high achievers, there's often this belief that you should be able to figure everything out by yourself.
Mhm.
But no one can do it all alone. And therapy is a way to build strength and resilience. So, internalized stigma is the belief that one should handle it on their own without outside help. And it's feelings of shame or guilt about needing professional support.
It's okay to not be okay. Remember that.
Right. Therapy isn't just for crises, it's a space to understand yourself, manage emotions, and align your life with your goals. So, let's get into the tips for overcoming barriers. The first one is normalizing talking about mental health with people that you trust, friends, mentors, even family.
And then we need to find culturally competent therapists. So search for professionals who understand and respect your cultural background.
Yeah, for sure. And look for financial assistance to help with costs. Look into sliding scale therapists,
Mhm.
online platforms, or even support groups.
Yes, there are support groups in person or online, and they can be tailored to your preference based on culture, gender, age, and diagnosis. Um, telehealth can, you can utilize virtual therapy to address logistical and accessibility challenges.
Yeah. If you can't make it into a physical office, or there's just problems with, you know, your childcare, like being able to um, do what you need to get into therapy in person. There's always telehealth. So I want you to take small steps. Start with one session, or maybe listen to a mental health podcast to ease into the idea or learn more.
Yeah. Or you can read articles or books about what therapy is and how it works, or follow mental health professionals on social media for tips and insights, like ourselves. And you could even schedule a free consultation with a therapist to ask questions about without the pressure.
So, what's one thing holding you back from therapy? If you've been in therapy, how was it? Reflect on it or share in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And don't forget to check the description for resources to help you get started.
Remember, taking care of your mental health is one of the most empowering things you can do.
And thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the next video.